All right. Good morning, everybody. Here we are in Las Vegas for the next week or so. It's John from House Edge or John from Casino Gaming Central on House Edge Live. Let's get to it here today. I want to talk about streaks, as you can tell by the thumbnail today. And when I came to Vegas on Saturday, I guess it was, I drove down here from Washington State. It's about a 15-hour drive, maybe 16, depending on how many times I stop. And most of that drive, there's no radio. There's no signal, no satellite, nothing. So what I do is I pre-download a whole bunch of YouTube videos and I just play them on repeat, as I drive. So I get to listen to people without being able to watch them, which is interesting because for me, anyway, as a YouTube host, it's teaching me in that perspective how to do a show where I explain better. So you can actually kind of see what's going on with your ears instead of just your eyes, because when you're driving, it's hard. Anyway, one of the shows I got to listen to was, I think, one of Ken from Ken Knows Gambling's best shows ever, actually. And if you haven't seen it yet, I think it came out last Friday. I think the title of it is, I'm trying to remember, I think it's called, Is This the Best One Yet? Or something like that. Anyway, it's about streaks. And what he basically does is he takes, he's playing like four guys at the same time. Not with dice, right? He's just like pretending that they win or lose. And he's going through like, how would the same bet guy, or how would the ladder guy, or how would the 1, 3, 2, 4 guy do with 6 straight wins? One loss, 6 straight wins. Win, loss. And he did all these different scenarios. And I don't think he really gave a great conclusion at the end because, there's a million variations of that, right? But what you found, and I think the most important takeaway from all of that, to me, was on the ladder guy, of course, has got an interesting case. The guy that's doing the regression up and pull, which is the John Patrick kind of system, really has this goofy advantage in almost every situation except for one. And when you think about what is the best way to do a streak, I think that deserves a little bit more attention, than what we've been giving it. And I always say regression up and pull is the kind of thing you can do after a streak. After you hit your thing, it's a great way to continue to play without risk once you hit a goal. But it's interesting to me how it gets there. So I wanted to break that down a little bit today and look at that one and a couple others, sort of the same way that Ken did it. But I'm going to pre-bake the results. We're going to take a look at the results, and I want to take a look at something a little bit different kind of as we go. So I'm just going to jump into the table here. I don't have really kind of a PowerPoint today. We'll just jump into the table, and we'll just kind of hit it and see what happens here. Let's go. All right. I'm going to move my computer out of the way, and I think you guys can see that okay, right? Let's get the shoe out here. I will be dealing, by the way, this week. I'm going to get some, we'll do some blackjack maybe. But what I want to do here first is this. I want to take these chips, and what I've got here is 20 blacks. So there are 10 blacks, there's 10 whites, and there's 5 reds. Now, we're going to start this by looking at a blackjack player, or not blackjack, at a baccarat player. This could very easily be roulette, where you've got reds and blacks and a couple of double zeros in here. But for the sake of discussion, I'll do 2 reds actually. Let's look at, let's mix them up. I'm going to kind of do what I did before, mix these things up a little bit as best as I can. Now, this is only 25 or so outcomes. But what I want to do here is kind of make a mess of them, and then we're going to reset the stacks. I'm just going to keep on shuffling here as we go. And I want to talk about the streaks that kind of form randomly. So let's just do this. I'm going to pick them up, get them back in my hands here, and we'll just kind of see what we have. Now, again, this is going to be a little less compelling with only 20. And now I've dropped a couple on the floor. My God, what a pain in the ass. Hold on. Jeez. All right. There we go. So what I've got is this. And again, I just randomly dropped them in here. Okay, so this is what's interesting about streak hunting. And I'm going to bring this closer to the camera so you can really see what this is. Okay, there's the outcomes. Okay, if you go from this side here where my finger is, that's a white, 2 blacks, 2 whites, a black, a white. There's a little bit of chop in there, right? It's a little choppy to start. In the middle, it gets a little bit more dense. And in the end, it actually finishes pretty strong. See the 4 whites there at the end? If this was the baccarat shoe that you were about to play, right, your way of playing really differs based on where you start, if you think about this. And I'll leave this here just as kind of as an example, okay? But let's look at a couple of things. And if you look at it from the top down, by the way, you can't tell what's going to happen. Remember I told you the last time we did this experiment? Like, it's interesting to see this when you know what's going to happen. When you don't know all you see is the next result. You just don't really know, right? But the regression up and pull that Ken was showing, and I'm going to do it here with 3 units instead of 2, just because I don't want to make change. But if you started out with 3 units, okay, and you win 3 units, and you regress down to 2, what happens? You get your money back plus a unit, and you're playing, and then when you win, you can go up and pull, and you win, and you go up and pull. And every time you're pulling an extra unit, right? You pulled 1, you pulled 2. If you win 4, you go up, and now you're pulling 3 back. And every time you're pulling back an extra unit, and your stack starts to grow. In a streak like this, it works really good. The thing with this, though, is the regression up and pull. If you don't win the first one, if you're looking for blacks, but you start on this side, and you catch a loss first. So you go out there with your 3 units, right? And you catch a loss out of the gate. Then you go 3 units again and you catch your win, okay? Now you go regress. You have your lost 3 units back and partial, right? That was your win. Another win here, up and pull, and you're still not out of the woods. After 2 straight wins, you could be out of the woods even and start over again if you're managing your rack correctly. And this is, I think, an important bankroll lesson. If you do lose the first one in an RUP, right, what you got to do is kind of monitor this situation here. I'm going to do that again so you can see it, because I think it's pretty important. Out with 3. I'll put the losses here. Put the losses down the dome so you can see it better. There's your losses, okay? Out with 3. On the first one, it was a loss for you, okay? The second outcome is a win for you. So you win 3, okay? You can regress down. So out of it, you got your initial set of losses back. But let's look where we are. There's 3 and there's 1, okay? At this point, you're actually even after the first recovery, right? You can actually be even with what you lost and what you restarted with. But let's go out there and keep it going, okay? Another win, up and pull. Technically, you can pull a second time and be even in your rack. Your loss goes away. You've got your loss back. You've got your second startup back. You're 2 in profit. You're at the same point where you would have been after your first regression. You're back down to here. Now you're going to lose again. You go out with 3. And you lose again. Now you're going to win. Out with 3. That's cool. Here's a win. Pays 3. Regress. And again, here we are, right? We're getting back to where we need to be. But then we lose here. And now you're getting chopped up. There's a loss. Back out at 3. There's a win, which pays 3. And you can regress. You're getting there. You're fighting. See how we're fighting back here? There's 3 and there's 2. We're back to even again with the unit, but we're still doing the up and pull thing. Now we're going to lose. Back out with 3. Again, you don't know I know what's going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen, right? There's 3. There's a win. Regress. Look at that. We're even again. After all that chopping back and forth, we got ourselves back to being even again. So the initial loss, the second one, and now we're back out here playing again. Okay, we're back in okay shape. We'll take another win. There's the loser stack, right? We go up and pull, and now we have a unit in profit plus we're playing. Here's a couple of ties back to back. So nothing happens, whatever happened, right? A black, win, up and pull. And then it resets. Oh, that goes over here. And then we reset because we lose on a white. And we're back to playing again. So it's different if you win or lose the first one. And I think that was what I found. I should put these back, so it doesn't really matter. What I found most interesting was in the regression up and pull, if you win the first one, you're always going to be in great shape. If you lose the first one, it takes a few times to get it back, right? You got to win. Here's your losses again. You got to win. Oh my God. Come back to here. Right? Did I do that right? No. You win and come down there. And there you get back your loss in that first hit. It's almost like a little bit of a ladder. When you come back, because you're right back to where you were on the first win. You can get your one back because you're at 3 units. You can recover the loss right away. Then it's a matter of like, how do you want to play the second part of that streak through, right? The second part of the streak, do you keep going with a up and pull until you get out through the process of up and pull? But the interesting thing I think also is this. If we look at the stack, there's only in this, and again, this is just 20 outcomes. I'll put it up close to the camera again. There's only one set in this whole stack right here in the very end of the shoe, or the end of the outcome series, where there's 4 in a row. And when I do this, and there it is right there, that's the 4 whites. It's very rare that you see 3 or 4 in a row. As many times as I can do this, mess in the stack, and we'll do it again here, as many times I want to screw up the stack and kind of just make as big of a mess as I can with these chips. And again, with a smaller stack, it's a little bit harder to get them really randomized. But if I do this over and over and over again, you'll find that it's very, very rare that we find 3 or 4 in a row. I'm just going to kind of blindly grab these things and sort of throw them in a stack here and see what happens. It's super rare to find 3 or 4. Let's see what we got this time. Again, another completely random set. Now here I got 2 of them. Can you see in here? There's a stack of 4 whites again down here in the end, and there's a stack of 3 blacks right here in the middle. There's a 3 streak and there's a 4 streak. And again, this is 45 or 25 outcomes in here, right? So there's 20 out of 25, there's a 3 and there's a 4. The rest of it's chop. It's win, tie, win, lose, lose, win, win, lose, a little bit of a streak, lose, lose, win, a little bit of a streak, and then chop at the end. Chop is the norm. The streak is the outlier. And one of the things that we like to say is this: you win or you lose in the chaos, right? The best way to say that is variance is real, right? This is 50-50, but it's not exactly a chop. It's not 10 and 10, right? It's a 50-50 essentially outcome here, but it's never going to be what you expect to see in order. You're not going to see one after the other or an exact chop. So the thing of it is, most of the time, it's not going to be 4 or 3 in a row. Most of the time, it's going to be some sort of chop. So you need a system, if you're going to be streak hunting, of how do you attack when it's choppy and capitalize when it's a win. So one thing you can do is kind of combine ideas, right? And take your combined ideas, right? And maybe do a little bit of a parlay along with a ladder, or a little bit of a streak hunt with, so like a 1, 3, 2, 4 while you're laddering. And again, that takes bankroll, but you just need one win to boogie. You don't need to have this crazy streak of whatever to get out of a system, right? You could be here where you're at 1 and we lose the 1, and we're at 2 and we lose the 2 and we're at 3, okay? And let's say that we win at 3 and we do a full parlay and a power press, right? You can combine a 1, 3, 2, 4 with a ladder. So you laddered up as you went and you lost 1, 2, 3 times in a row. You're chasing the loss with a ladder, but you're going to try and hammer the win. So again, I'm in this thing for 3, 4, 5, 6, and my power press 7, 8, 9 units. If that happens to win, I'm actually out of greens there, right? What we come back with is there's 3 that we lost, 3 that we lost. The 1, 2, 3 that we lost by chasing. The first one, the second one, the third one. Okay, there's our 6. There's the power press. And our net win here is 9 units. So we end up doubling up our loss, our investment. If you do a ladder along with the 1, 3, 2, 4. Let's look at it again. Again, I don't have enough green chips to make this all work. Do I? No, I don't have enough. But we'll pretend. Here we go. Ready? Out with 1, lose it. Ladder up. Go to 2. Lose the second one. Ladder up. Go to 3 and lose that. So we're out 3, 6 units. 3 losses in a row. If you can catch 2 wins in a row, again, you're going to go out there with, now we're going to go out there with a ladder of 4, let's say. If we win the 4, we parlay it plus 1. So go from 1 to 3. There's 3. I'll put it like this. There's 3. 1 to 3. 1, 2 that we won. Lean into that thing, and here comes the win. I'll do the win in red because that's all I have, right? If you go 1, 3, 2, 4 along with the streak hunt, okay, what do we earn back from this? Well, there's 1, 2, 3. We have to put up here the 4 of that last one plus the 4-unit power press. So we're in this game for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In for 14. You catch that 2 in a row. There's 10. There's 14, 15, 16 units in profit after recovering. You don't have to work a ladder all the way back. You can be aggressive in the ladder and do a regular streak play along with the ladder. So ladder up and then hit it once if you can catch through it, right? It's a pretty ballsy move, right? I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it's an interesting way to combine. Somebody asked me over email, how do you combine a ladder with a 1, 3, 2, 4? And that's the way that you do it. But you got to have the bankroll to make that last play happen. And you got to get 2 in a row. It's like a 31. You got to get 2 in a row at some point to make it work. You could be a little bit easier with that and say, look, lose 1, lose 2, lose 3, out with 4, win 4, and just let that sit. And if that happens to win, I'll pay them in reds, obviously, because I'm out of greens. If that wins, where are you at? 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. There's your investment back. So you're even with a 10-unit win. So a simple parlay can get you out and out with probably your goal. The power press parlay, the 1-3, after a couple of losses with a ladder included, although it's massive bankroll needs, right? You can really bump out of there quickly. If you can just catch 2 in a row at some point, it would work. Now, that all sounds really good when I'm pretending, right? I'm pretending to win and pretending to lose at certain rates. How does that look in reality, right? How many 2 in a rows are in this system right here, right? Well, let's take a look. There's 1 in a row. Technically speaking, that's 2 in a row because it's a win, a tie, and a win. Ties don't hurt you, right? That's 2 in a row. Here's 2 in a row on the bad side. Streak of 2. So I'll put these in streaks, right? 1 streak of 2, 2 streaks of 2, another streak of 2. There's a loss of 1, so we're out of a streak. But then you get 3 in a row, right? Then you get 2 in a row. We'll put the whites up here. Let's do this so it's a little bit easier to see. 2. All right, there's a 1 in a row. There's 4 in a row. And then we've got a little bit of chop at the end here. So the end, I'll put up here. The end is very choppy, so it's black, white, tie, nobody cares, and black. So look at this, how this ran out today. On that, what the last mix-up I did, right? A streak of 2. So you win 2 in a row, and that's a 1-3, and you're basically done, right? If you do a 1-3, 1, win 1, add 1, right here, that's a 4-unit win. If you're playing with black chips, it's $400 and you're out of the door, right? That's that. Then you would lose 2 in a row. So if your regression up and pull, okay, and you're at a 3-unit starting point, and you win 3, and you regress, and you win 2, and you up and pull, you've got 2 units in profit. You lose here, you lose again, and then you win 2 more. So the regression up and pull, if you win at the beginning, you're always going to be in great shape. If the regression up and pull guy, though, missed this one, and he started here, and his first thing he walks into is 2 losses in a row, then these really don't matter. You got to get all the way to here before you're making money, right? It's when you pop in. I think it's interesting, right? If you walked up here or walked into the table here, your experience is completely different. If you're playing a great system, a rush up and pull or whatever it's going to be, you start here, you're in gravy town. If you start here, you're fighting uphill and you're bitching all day long about how long it took you to get even. Just because you came into it at the wrong time. I said before, like, if it ain't going your way sometimes, wait a minute. Like if you're lose, give it a second until the tide changes and then come in over here, right? Let yourself get out of this freaking chop, C1, jump back in, and then you can come back in and play the game again. So your experiences just change based on when you enter the thing. And that's it. I just wanted to kind of get that out because I think it's very, to me, fascinating to watch how these things work. Let's do it again. Let's do one more mix-up and to see what kind of a streak we can find this time. I'm going to try and, again, it's so hard to do this without, I don't know how else do we mix these things up, but we're just going to do our best to sort of make as big a mess of things as I can here. And let's just kind of, I got my eyes closed, by the way, so I really can't see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of feeling the chips here. Let's see what we find this time. All right. This time it looks, oh, look at that. Look, you see the juice in the middle there? You all see that? Look at the blacks in here. Look at all the wins. But again, if you start on the first one, it's a win. Moves out of the way. There's a win. Then we got, look at this, 1, 2, 3 losses, a win, a loss, a win. Here comes the chop, right? A loss. There's a win or a loss again. Here's a tie, which doesn't matter. 2 wins, 2 losses. If you can last long enough, you're going to get one of those. Another tie. There's 2. There's 1, and there's 2. So again, the same number of outcomes, but look at this. If you come into here, you win one and you're okay. You can survive one of these, but you get beat twice. Then it's chop, 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 chop. This is even a chop. 2 and 2 is a chop. If you can get into here, then what I showed you before could be the gravy train for you. You might survive to this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At the 9th level, the 9th time through, you hit your 4 in a row. Or actually, what we needed was 3 in a row. And you can be out of here. If you can wait it out, there might be one there for you, but this is a bankroll decision. We talk about bankroll driving a lot of these decisions. And anyway, there it is. That's what I want to talk about with streaks is just that. It's not about is the regression up and pull the best way, or the 1, 3, 2, 4 the best way, or a 3-leg parlay, or even this crazy. Watch this craziness, right? What if you did a 4-leg power plus, right? What if you went into 1, right, and you won 1? I'll make the wins red so we can see them, right? You win 1, you power press to 3, right? You win at 3, and you power press. You parlay the whole thing, but you put another one in there. That's your second win. Now you got 7 out there, right? So you put you got 7. It's going to win 7. Third win, and you put another one in. You might even put 2 in each time that you win. You might be, but you're investing 1, 2, 3, 4 blacks. Or all the blacks are your investment. Okay, that's 3 wins in a row. On the 4th win in a row, you've got 8. 12, 13, 14, 15 units out there. On the 4th one here, or the one, your starter 1, 2, 3 power presses in if you can catch 5 in a row, it's a 30 unit win. The power press is interesting, right? Even the double up is interesting. I saw this on a video the other day this is an old video I saw, where a guy did this, which is fantastic. He went with 1, and of course he wins, and he matches the win. 3 times he does this, 3 times, right? Now you got 4 out there, right? So you win 4, and you match 4. That's 2. Okay? Now we have, how many we got out here? We got 5, 12 of them out there, right? So you win 12, 1, 2, 2, and you match 1, 2, 2. And so now on the fourth go, this is your stake. But you've got your entire bankroll out there looking for one massive hit. right? Saw a guy do this on Baccarat one time. And he basically matched 3 times, and the 4th one he took home. And that's what he did. Knowing that if it works, right, the reward is going to be whatever the hell this is, right? The reward is, I can't even tell you how much money is out there. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 units in profit. It's a 40 unit profit if all that works out, right? If you can last, and you saw we had 4 in a row earlier in that system over there. If you can last through that and keep jacking it in, that right there will make up for all of it, right? And it's kind of a negative positive progression, which I think is insane. So you do this this power press parlay thing. If you can catch the number, catch that streak, super aggressive compared to the regression up and pull, which, by the way, in Ken's video, won every single time. The only time I think the regression up and pull did not win was when it started out with a couple of losses. When it went loss, win, loss, win, when it was choppy, it had a problem because it couldn't quite catch any rhythm. There was just the one scenario where it lost. Now, sometimes it would win $75 and the 1, 3, 2, 4 would win 400. There was times when the RUP would win 125 and the other one would win 900. So it didn't win a lot, but it won often. Most of the time, that thing stayed pretty stable, except for when it started out of the gate poorly. And then fighting back takes a long time. Fighting back or being in a chop once you've lost is tough on the RUP, but it did great across all of them. The ladder did great across all. The only time the ladder lost was when it lost, when it never won. Which, what are you going to do, right? So anyway, that's my streaking thoughts today. I've got more coming, but I wanted to give you some options. As you're playing at home, do what I just did. Mix them up and see what the streaks actually are, but also look at different ways of dealing with the wins and losses, right? One of the things that John Patrick used to always talk about was with money management, it really comes down to what do you do with your wins? What do you do with your losses? And if you're going to be with a 3-unit win and you take some of it back, you stack your wins, right? You always stack something with your wins. This will not win you a lot of money, but it will win you money all the time or most of the time. That's what conservative play means. This will win money almost all the time. It's going to win 2 units instead of the guy that goes out with 3, wins it, parlays it, and wins 6 sometimes. This guy here is going to win actually 9 units. In the same 2 wins, he wins 9 units versus the other guy winning 2. But this guy here has a chance of never bringing money home, where the regression up and pull guy always brings money home. So you can win 9 sometimes and win nothing a bunch, or win 1 or 2 every single time. That's conservatism versus aggressive play when you look at streaks. I want you to do these things. Take your chips at home and set yourself up with different scenarios, right? Again, regression up and pull for hit number 1, right? Regress. Hit number 2, and you've got a net win of 2 if you lost here, okay? The other guy, who's going to be a 3-unit win and a parlay, he's going to win a total of 9 units in the same 2 hits. He's going to win 9 versus your 2, but most of the time, he's going to put out 3 and lose it because he's not going to win the second one. In the choppy table, he loses 3, he loses 3, he loses 3. He wins 9, he's even. If you're regression up and pulling, you're winning 1, you're winning 1, you're winning 1. So you're up 3 versus being down 9 or being even. So you got to run these things out with streaks of 2 and 3 in a row and see which one feels best to you. Right? Do you want to be the aggressive parlay guy or a half parlay, or do you want to go full RUP? And you make the call of what feels best to your bankroll. And remember I talk about the bridge all the time? How does your risk profile match the way you play? If doing something like that, or the guy that I showed you who matched every single win for 4 in a row, if that gives you the agita and you can't do it, then don't do it. Do a regression up and pull. Do something more simple, right? If the thing that I'm showing you gives you pause, don't do it. But if something out there goes, I can maybe think about that, well, get your chips out and do it. Everybody's got poker chips at home. Set them up. Put 20 and 20 in a bag. Put 40 chips in a bag. Just go 50-50 with it. Mix them up, pull them out, and do the streak thing that I just did. Line them up, wins and losses over here, or whatever, and then put your chips against it. How would I do if it was 2 losses, 2 wins, 3 wins? You know what I mean? And see how you would do. That's how you learn this stuff. You don't learn it by memorizing what John or Ken or somebody else said. You learn it by putting it out here on the table. So that's my advice today. All right. Tom, I like doing to me, the chips tell the story, and if you want to look at like this, somebody was asking the other day about just a 6 and 8, right? Just a 6. How would I do here, right? How many, like if I wanted to take the 6 and 8, for example, and say, let's take $35, right? And let's, press the 6. And all I'm looking to do is get 2 hits up here. 2 6s or 8s before a 7. And I'm going to full press one of them. So I might get the 70, I might get the 35 in the next one. We don't know what we're going to get. What's it look like to get 2 of those? Well, you got to use chips, right? Because you've got 10 ways to win, right? You got 10 ways. Let's pull 10 chips out. You got 10. Actually, those are we'll make reds the 7s, right? There's your 6 ways to lose, right? And you've got, with these two, 10 ways to win. There's 5, and there's 10 ways to win. There's 6 ways to lose, right? But you want to do it twice, okay? So what you do is you mix these up. You take your 6 losses and your 10 wins, and you put them in a baggie, and you mix these up, right? And you got to remix them every time because this is the way the probability works, right? This doesn't matter in terms of the order. They don't come out of the bag. So you mix them all up, right? We're gonna take them down here in my hand. I'm just gonna get them straight, right? And here you go. All right, now I'm just gonna close my eyes and see what we get. Okay. Again, we're looking for 2 wins in a row. 2 6s or 8s. Again, every green one's a 6 or an 8. Every red one's a 7. If you do this, boom, there you go. You can look at the stack right there. What's going to happen? Okay. We come up top, right? We catch a win. We catch a win. That time it totally worked out, right? You got your 2 wins and you can be home, right? If you started here, there's a 7. There's a 7. There's a not 7s in a row. Those are 7s that come before the 6s or 8s come. So 3 times you would have burned. Right here, you win 2 of them. Here you lose 3 times 60, right? The next time, you got, looks like 4 in a row, 4 6s or 8s. You can pull the move off twice. This is a good way to, and again, I think when you do this, you got to reset. Because the first time you do this, right, you're going to play this through until either you win or you lose, and you reset it. So again, I think it's a great way to visualize the real probabilities. This is really what it would look like, winning 6s or 8s before 7s. And here again, you got 3 losses in here, and then you got 6 wins in a row. There's 6 greens in a row here. At some point, you catch 6 6s or 8s in a row before a 7. That's a magical run, right? That's your power press and collect, your power press collect, and you're out, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Love it. All right, let's get out of here. I got to get to work. Yes. So when you do this, Hondo, right here, if I'm doing the 6, that's why I'm saying it's only the 6 or 8, right? This is 6, 8, and 7. If you put the other ones in here as white chips, you'd have to put 18 more white chips in there, or whatever the number is. Yeah, 18 or no, 20 white chips in there to account for all the other numbers. It's just noise. Because the outcomes that don't matter just don't matter. So you look at just the ones that actually pay or don't pay. All the other noise, who cares? That's why I do it this way, just to catch the ones that I'm going to get paid or lose money on, just to keep it easier. The big bankroll can induce aggressive betting. It also, big bankrolls, I think, automatically become one of 2 things. Either you're going to be a 550 inside and blast guy and go for the home run on craps, or the big bankroll induces more laddering, more negative progression. You got the money to do a negative progression. You can go to 10 levels on a regular ladder. Bigger bankroll guys will oftentimes become ladder players because they have the bankroll to get it. The reason why, people are going 50-0 in bubble craps is because they're buying in for $2,400 and winning $100, right? Not that it's easy to win $100, But when you have $2,400, you have room to move the bets up, right? You have plenty of room to move the bets up without having this massive goal. You just got to get a hit at some point during the process to level set and restart. Massive bankroll makes winning a little bit of money easy. With bigger bankroll, you can make smaller wins happen almost all the time. It takes a miracle to beat you with a big bankroll. You buy in for $5,000, you're looking to win $100 and you're going to ladder. It takes a miracle to beat you, which is why you can go 50 or 100-0 with those smaller win goals with the massive bank. The massive bank doesn't always mean aggressiveness, although I would consider a ladder, a negative progression, as being highly aggressive because you're really going to attack the casino with your bankroll. Even though the win goal is moderate, the attack plan is pretty aggressive. That's how I would probably say that. Let's see. Going over here. You guys love the chips. Even Anthony, good idea when you want to just try bang for Bach. And yeah, and again, it works for the other numbers too. You can actually simulate craps with the chip thing too. I think it's good to see probabilities. When you see like how often can I actually get to a 6 or 8 before a 7, this is a great visual to me. And it does showcase how hard it is to get 2 or 3 in a row, even when you have an advantage of 10. All right, I got to get to work. You guys have a good one. I will see you tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow yet. I may come into more streaking stuff. I may do I may do some rolls or some cards. I may pull the cards out tomorrow and just play some of these streak ideas, and with varying degrees of aggressiveness and conservatism. I want to kind of go through both sides of that. All right, I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. God bless y'all. Love you. See you tomorrow, and bye from Las Vegas.